dragon dance. There is the dragon dance. Do the dragon dance. Dance the dragon dance. Do the dragon dance. There is the dragon dance. Do the dragon dance. Dance the dragon dance. Do the dragon dance. There is the dragon dance. Do the dragon dance. Dance the dragon dance.
Welcome to the Virtual Dragon Cafe.
Well, what better way to celebrate the 40th birthday of Pac-Man than for him to introduce the Virtual Dragon Cafe. But I do hope you're not indoors playing video games. I hope you've been out and seen a bit of sunshine. It's a beautiful day out there. And I'm hoping that I'm joined by Declan and Lou. So let's go over and see if they're there.
Hello.
Aha! Who's that? That looks like Declan. How are you doing?
Aloha. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Martin.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm well.
Excellent.
I must say, I was certainly a bit partial to Pac-Man and computer games when I was a bit younger. I don't get play them too much these days, but I did enjoy them.
Yeah, well, I think I'm a little bit of an older generation, so we didn't get so hooked on them. I do remember the original Space Invaders in recording studios as being like, I remember one, there was a glass table with the Space Invaders in it, and we all got into that. However, Atari Nebulous and James Pond, they were excellent games.
James Pond. Yeah. You just reminded me of that. That was a great game.
It was indeed, yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
But
it's so maybe this is a nice segue from computer games to board games.
Yeah.
And say we've got a new Good Moves video up today on Vimeo.
Right, yeah.
Ian. So this month he's been focusing on Tony Miles, who is England's first ever chess grandmaster, and Ian's put another guided sort of story of Tony, one of Tony's classic matches. So if you want to check that out, go to our Mental Fight Club Vimeo page.
And do you want to just tell us the address for that?
Yeah, that's going to be, I believe, I can just hit,
I think
it's just vimeo.com / Mental Fight Club. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on our Connect site under the videos, and I can re-add it under this video so we'll put that up.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a nice thing to explore. But also, Martin, I was going to say, on our Connect page, as you have rightly said before, there's an invitation for us not just to look at our screens and indoors, but also to have a look out the window and maybe even venture out into a garden or a park. We're allowed to do that now a little bit, aren't we? And to connect with nature.
Absolutely. I think it's been really a lesson learned during this lockdown that people have appreciated nature more because they can actually hear birds. You know, I've had friends send me audio. What bird is this? You know, just they've never been able to hear them so well before, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
it's definitely a good time to get involved in that. And this week's adventure was triggered by something that Eve sent to us to build your own bird feeder out of an old bottle. So that's there to be done, but also
Brilliant.
just any pictures, audio stories of any sort of thing you've noticed in the natural world. Dragon Cafe Connect, that's the place to share it.
Definitely. Yeah, I too have been enjoying that a great deal. And actually, there's a nice link through to Brendan's Bodyworks video today,
Yes,
wasn't there?
yeah, indeed,
He's
yeah.
very much celebrating connecting with nature.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of beautiful bird sounds as well.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Definitely up my street, and we'll be pursuing that area a bit more in future programmes. So watch this space.
Great.
Do you have a loo with you, Declan?
I don't think so at the moment. No, it might be that she'll have to join us and pop in maybe after a section or something.
Oh well, we'll give that a go, because we can't not have some loose laughs, can we? We've got to have some
Loose laughs. There needs to be a little musical.
I know. Well, we'll work on that. But all right then. Well, shall we go and join Brendan then? Should we go out in the countryside? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Let's do that.
Okay then. See you later, Declan.
All right. See you, Martin.
Bye bye.
See you.
Okay, so here is Brendan.
Greetings to another Bodyworks with Brendan. As you might see, things are a bit different this week, as I've decided to go outside to connect with nature, and that's in two ways. That's tree hugging and barefoot walking. I kind of think they're kind of all connected. So the benefits are, a feeling of connectedness and emotional well-being, and there's also a wonderful bonus of reducing inflammation. How that feels with me is just basically a tingling feeling, but it's supposed to reduce inflammation, which is very healthy across the spectrum. First off, I've just when I heard Ariella's suggestion of tree hugging, I really thought that was amazing. I just thought it blew my mind, quite frankly, and I hope a lot of you have followed her suggestion, and that this in some way underscores that, and that you go out into nature. I suggest maybe even any length of time, but perhaps 20 or 30 minutes would give you a good boost. As for hugging a tree, I guess you'd think there wouldn't be that much to it, and I would just say go ahead and explore. And I'd just like to give a little hug to Ariella. Thanks, Ariella. A nice hug to Renzo. And a nice hug to anyone who isn't feeling well, and just everyone at the cafe. And apart from hugging a tree as if it was a friend, you can also just try to be still with the tree I think the best way I like it a few ways. I like it here, and I can look around me. But I also like just sitting down with my back towards the tree. Now you've got to find the right one for you. But this one's pretty nice. And over time, if you can just commit your weight to the tree and try to just feel the earth support your weight. You can even try to visualize being connected to the center of the earth. All in all, I found it to be an invigorating and refreshing experience, and I guess there isn't a lot to it, but it's for you to check out. Okay, just before we go, I'd just like to do a couple of joint mobilizers, okay, just to get ready for dancing. So here's a few twirls of the wrists and the ankles. You can change one more time. One more time. Throw in a few waist turns. Go one way and the other way. Nice. Reach up on your toes. Reach up on your toes. Nice. Couple of shoulder turns. That's beautiful. I'll leave you in Ariella and Renzo's loving, skilled hands. Blessings to everyone.
Thank you very much, Brendan. That was lovely to be taken outside like that, and I was listening to that on headphones, and as well as the crows and robins and a wren going crazy, I think there was a chiff-chaff and a black-cap who've come all the way from sub-Saharan Africa to be with us. So thank you to them for doing that. And as that was a warm-up for dance, let's go straight over to Ariella and Renzo.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. We hope you've had a good week, and we had a nice week.
Yes,
I think
we hugged lots of trees.
Lots of trees
in the common.
And we know that Brendan liked our idea very much about hugging trees, and we had to look for a very big tree, a fit one, a very healthy one to hug. And so here we are, and it's really nice that you've done a warm-up with Brendan, because there isn't much time for doing warm-up, but Brendan does it wonderfully. So, and the breathing and the stretching, so we can go straight into dancing.
Yes.
And the first one we've got is a little bit of a vintage one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get ready to rock.
And roll. And
Musica maestra.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Well, they said you was high class, well, that was just a lie. Yeah, they said you was high class, well, that was just a lie. Yeah, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time.
Yeah, hope you like that one,
Yes.
the vintage one.
Yes. And now we got one from Renzo.
Yeah, we travel further back in time this time. So we go back to the 1920s. So get ready and
To swing.
Yes.
And
Musica maestro.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. We hope you've had a good week. And we had a nice.
Well, I do apologise. We just had a sort of technical breakdown there. So I'm going to leave dance and come back to it shortly, I hope. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to go over to the land of Zoom and see if I can find Declan and Lou. So let's have a look. Hello, Declan.
Hey, Lou. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Yes, we've just had a little breakdown over here, so I'm going to hand over to you for the next little while, and hopefully Lou is with you.
Yeah, Lou's here.
Cool.
I think, Lou, you might have accidentally muted yourself. So, Lou, we can't hear you. You'll have to do the mute again.
Hi,
There
can
you
you
go.
hear me now?
Yes, you can.
Brilliant.
Perfect. Good to see
Hi.
you. You keep surprising us each week with like new and interesting backdrops. It's great. I've got to do a lot more. I've got to work a lot harder on my one, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm getting to know your light very well.
Maybe I should start adding features. Maybe a hat next week.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
glasses or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you doing, Lou?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm really enjoying this weather, although I'm not seeing that much of it, but yeah, it's beautiful. Lovely blue sky.
Pretty
Yeah.
good to have a bit of shade anyway. I think
Yeah.
if you want to be out in it at any length of time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And must be looking forward to this Wednesday as well, with the additional kind of following on from last week and your conversation with Fish about Ida Hobbit Day. And I know that it's nice
Yeah.
to know that that will be
Yeah.
happening in a couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah, so this Wednesday, the 27th of May, King Frankie Sinatra is hosting a special event for Dragon Cafe in the city, and will have 3 different drag performers throughout the whole hour, and that again is to celebrate Ida Hobbit, which we were talking about last week. And also, if people wanted to go and look at the blog, I've added I think a really interesting piece about an artist who's drawn a lot of very good but simple portraits of trans people. So that's up on the blog if people would like to see that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely would encourage people to take a look at that. And there's lots of other articles. I know you posted some other items up there as well, Lou. So that's great. And don't forget everyone else to get engaged with that. Lou's posted some really interesting things. I think celebrating Eid yesterday as well. It's yesterday. And then also there's John Davidson, who is a poet and contributor to our open mic. He's doing a series actually where he is writing a little kind of personal history and connection of bus routes that go through Borough and that connect different parts of London to our Dragon Cafe site there on Borough High Street, which is definitely worth a read as well. That'd be good. So Wednesday is going to be great because the evenings that King Frankie has hosted at the Dragon Cafe have been like wonderful. Like people have come away absolutely buzzing, haven't they? They've been great. And so Lou, I think Martin's just busy doing some work. He's his technical wizardry behind the scenes. But do you maybe have a joke or two for us, maybe?
I do. I've just got a few short ones, and again, just to sort of call out to everybody, please send me in your jokes because I'd love to read them on here. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So the first one, which is very apt for us, is 2 dragons walk into a bar. One says to the other, "It's hot in here." The other dragon snaps back, "Shut your mouth."
Oh, okay. I was thinking, that dragon's a bit rude. And then I got it.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So the next one is, why did the woman bring a ladder to the bar? Because she heard the drinks were on the house.
Hey.
A weasel walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Wow, I've never served a weasel before. What can I get you?" Pop goes the weasel.
Yay. There you go. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. How far can a rabbit run into the woods? Halfway.
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 I don't get that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm waiting for you to do.
Oh, why halfway?
Why? Because after that he'll be running out.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah.
I heard a joke the other day actually that I thought was quite good. So while I remember it, maybe I'll share it. So it was someone who was saying the problem with towns and all the issues around cowboys and all these like criminals in the West. It was all about town planning, because really they just needed to make the town big enough for everyone.
Now, if I was a proper DJ, I'd get Sparks. This town ain't big enough for the both of us playing now, but unfortunately I'm not. I've got a joke from John Davison sent in. Would you like to hear that one?
Yeah.
Why did the divorced dragon create a Facebook account?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you. He wanted to look up an old flame.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
That was well placed with Lou's earlier dragon jokes as well. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I've got one tiny one. Shall I give you that?
Yes, please.
Just to end it. Okay. Why do black sheep eat less than white sheep?
I don't know.
Because there are fewer of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you very, very much. And yes, I'm hoping that we can now go back to dance. So can you both please cross your fingers?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
Cheers, Lou.
Okay. All right, Angie. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Nice to be back here today, and it's a lovely day. It's a wonderful day.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back to dance along with us. And so we're ready to start. I just want to say it was really lovely to see Brendan training outdoors.
Yeah.
And thank you for the tree hugging.
Yeah, thank you, Brendan.
And we're ready to go with the first song, and it's a warm-up. So it's loosely choreographed, and but I was inspired by the haka movement of the Maori people of New Zealand. So it's a little bit energetic to begin with, but then it's got the watch out for the chorus. It's got a little bit of flossing.
Watch out for the floss.
Watch out for the floss. And here we go.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Musica maestro.
Again, brothers, sisters, everybody sing. Gonna bring the flame, I'll show you how. Got a question for you, better answer now. Yeah. Am I original? Yeah. Am I the only one? Yeah. Am I sexual? Yeah. Am I everything you need? You better rock your body now. Everybody.
thank you, Ariella. I hope you're warm enough now to start doing some steps, some salsa steps. Easy salsa steps.
Yeah, well, except for the right-hand turn and left-hand turn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
still easy.
Yeah, you can always watch the video, later on and just see how Renzo does those steps. And usually salsa, when it's danced as a couple, there is always one dancer who's following and the other one who's leading. So Renzo will be doing the leading part, so starting the sequence with his left foot forward.
Yeah.
Whereas at the cafe, we always do
Right foot back.
The right foot back.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Musica maestro. Thank you, Renzo.
Thank you. Hope
nice.
You like the salsa.
Yay, it was nice and smooth. And the final one is one that you know very well, one of our old classics. It's a Bhangra, is a mixture of Bhangra and a little bit of more classical moves from Indian dancing. And we got that little bit with the arrow and bow. When you get the goddess or the god, because you can get deities from the Eastern world and the Western world using arrow and bow. Both goddesses and gods. So that's the nice move, and then everything else is Bhangra. So hope you enjoy that. It's kind of
it's a lively tune. It's a nice lively tune.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, lovely.
Yeah, musica
Enjoy.
maestro. Enjoy the dance. Thank you, Ariella, for that.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you.
song.
Thank you, all of you dancers. As usual, it doesn't really matter if we do all the steps. It's always, as we say at the Dragon Cafe, just do as much or as little as you wish. And the idea is that we're dancing together. So if you want to dance and need to see a friendly face on the screen, that we're dancing with you, we're dancing together, which is what matters. So you can just improvise and just using us as an excuse for finding an opportunity for dancing. And we wish to thank for this everyone from the Dragon Cafe, the Dragon Cafe team, Martin for putting the whole show together and the technical aspects of the show. And it's always lovely to see Declan and to see Lou and of course Brandon and all the singers from Open Mic and everyone who gets involved with Dragon Cafe, and waiting for the time when we will be able to get together again and dance together again and do all the lovely activities that we do with the Dragon Cafe together. So we wish you
have a nice week.
Yeah.
And we see you again next week.
We'll see you again next week, and have a lovely rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
And bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Ariel and Renzo, as usual. Really lively session there. I do apologise for the extra bits early on, just to accentuate the positive. Think of it as a bonus. Okay, so we are going to go over to writing works now. So we're going to follow on with the comic theme that we had from Lou a little bit earlier, because we have Diana with some comic verse. So this is your opportunity to ignore the screen and just sit back and listen. And I do hope you enjoy these poems. So let me just find that. And yes, please give a big welcome to Diana.
Hi. These are some poems from a lovely book called The Nation's Favourite Comic Poems, edited by Griff Rhys-Jones. It's a BBC publication. Here are some poems by Lewis Carroll, who was born in 1832 and died in 1898. The Walrus and the Carpenter. The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright, and this was odd, because it was the middle of the night. The moon was shining sulkily, because she thought the sun had got no business to be there after the day was done. It's very rude of him, she said, to come and spoil the fun. The sea was wet as wet could be, the sands were dry as dry. You could not see a cloud, because no cloud was in the sky. No birds were flying overhead. There were no birds to fly. The Walrus and the Carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand. If this were only cleared away, they said, it would be grand. If 7 maids with 7 mops swept it for half a year, do you suppose, the Walrus said, that they could get it clear? I doubt it, said the Carpenter, and shed a bitter tear. Oh, oysters, come and walk with us, the Walrus did beseech. A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk, along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4, to give a hand to each. The eldest oyster looked at him, but not a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd because, they hadn't any feet. 4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4. And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, all hopping through the frothy waves and scampering to the shore. The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock, conveniently low, and all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings. But wait a bit, the oysters cried, before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath, and all of us are fat. No hurry, said the carpenter. They thanked him much for that. A loaf of bread, the walrus said, is what we chiefly need. Pepper and vinegar, besides, are very good indeed. Now, if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed. But not on us, the oysters cried, turning a little blue. After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do. The night is fine, the walrus said. Do you admire the view? It was so kind of you to come, and you are very nice. The carpenter said nothing, but cut us another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice. It seems a shame, the walrus said, to play them such a trick, after we've brought them out so far and made them trot so quick. The carpenter said nothing, but the butter's spread too thick. I weep for you, the walrus said. I deeply sympathise. With sobs and tears he sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. Oh, oysters, said the carpenter, you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again? But answer came the none. And this was scarcely odd, because they'd eaten everyone. Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the Maxmoan foe he sought. So rested he by Tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, frabjous-day, callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe.
Great, thank you very much, Diana. 2 lovely poems there. I particularly like the word galumphing. That's a word I've used all my life, and that's where it comes from. So it is time for open mic, which comes from the Royal Albert Hall in London. And I'm very pleased to have somebody new to our virtual open mic who's going to sing us a song that I know quite well from, Sandy Denny does a beautiful version of it, but we've got a very special Virtual Dragon Cafe version, and it's called She Moved Through the Fair. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Chris.
Hi dragons, this song is called She Moved Through the Fair. My young love said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't chide you for your lack of kind. And she stepped away from me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. She stepped away from me, and she moved through the fair. So fondly I watched her go here and go there, and she made her way forward with one star awake, as the swan in the evening moved over the lake. The people were saying no two e'er were wed, but one has a sorrow that never was said. And she smiled as she passed with her goods and her gear, and that was the last that I saw of my dear. Last night I dreamt that my young love came in, so softly she entered, her feet made no din, and she came close beside me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. No, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. Thanks.
And it's thank you very much, Chris. It's a great story, isn't it? Great narrative put to a lovely tune there. So come back and give us another song, Chris. That was lovely. And this one will stick in your ear. This is a song called Coke with Lemon or Lime, and it comes from Stafford. So Big Dragon Cafe, welcome.
Here is Coke with Lemon or Lime. Oh, it's hot. The Coke with a lemon or in Coke, the Coke with lemon or lime, the Coke with a lemon or lime, the Coke with lemon or lime, sunshine, Coke with a lemon or lime, the Coke with a lemon in Coke, Coke with a lemon or lime. The sun shining open window, I got sauce I can cook with lemon or lime. Feeling someone flew up on the reef. Oh, our life so sublime. The trees, the gentle breeze, life's imperfect. I have no perfections, no reflect, no perfection. In those I also pay attention, progressing on into impatience, then you become patient. You become patient. Scary, me always being wary of the press I just take a cruise. Love story allegory. What's going down in Ballamore? Wouldn't you like to know? No, not really. Maybe eye to eye, so we can see things clearly. I'll rest in peace eventually. I hope my friends mention me. No more flesh and bone or skin tone, just me in the spirit sky. Oh, cold with a lemon in cold. Cold with lemon and lime. The cold with the coke and the lemon. Cold with a lemon or lime. Lemon or lime with Coca-Cola. It's a lemon or lime. Smacking on the lemonade. My brethrens might wanna step to this one. Yeah, you know it's going number one. Coke with lemon and coke. The coke with the lemon and coke. The coke with lemon and lime. Alright.
Yes, Stafford, that's great stuff. Thank you very, very much. And okay, for the last few weeks, Daniel has given us some sing-along Beatles song, but he also writes his own song, so it's time to showcase that. So this week we have one of Daniel's songs, and it's called Agoraphobia. So please enjoy.
Hi everyone, here's my song. It's called Hey Agoraphobia, and I hope you like it, and please join in if you pick up the chorus. Here we go. Hey agoraphobia, hey agoraphobia. While your friends are getting out, you're at home with fear and doubt. Hey agoraphobia. Any street where you might go, there's a bad scenario. Hey agoraphobia. The world to you seems in a state, you just have to isolate. Hey agoraphobia. Trapped inside your living room, it's become a mummy's tomb. Hey agoraphobia. Peering through the letterbox anytime the postman knocks. Hey agoraphobia. Around your life a ball and chain, will you face the world again? Hey agoraphobia. Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. Superman quakes at kryptonite. If it's okay for them, well, it's okay for you. There's no shame in being afraid. Open wide, be a hero, step outside. Hey agoraphobia. Head down to the marketplace, hang around and show your face. Hey agoraphobia. Take a breath and say a prayer, what you fear may not be there. Take a breath and say a prayer, what you fear may not be there. Take a breath and say a prayer, what you fear may not be there. Agoraphobia. Hey agoraphobia. Hey agoraphobia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And what a great lockdown song. I mean, it was written a long time before lockdown, but it's themes of isolation and all kind of rings true there. So, thank you, Daniel, Stafford, Chris, for your open mic. Thanks to Lou and Declan, Ariel and Renzo, Diana, and of course Brendan. Thanks to everyone who helped to put this together. Thank you to you for sticking with us despite our technical foibles. And I hope you will come back and see us next week. And have a good week till then. Enjoy this lovely weather and take good care. Bye. Bye-bye.
Summer breeze all in my mind. Summer breeze all in my mind. No, 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 no. It's all in my mind. No, 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 no. It's all in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Oh, summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind, all in my mind. See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. A little light shining through the window lets me know everything's alright. Oh, summer, you make me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Oh, summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Sweet days of summer, the jasmine's in bloom. July is dressed up and playing a tune. When I come home from a hard day's work and you're waiting there, not a care in the world. See the smile waiting in the kitchen, food cooking on a plate for two. Feel the arms reaching out to hold me in the evening when the day is through. Oh, summer breeze makes me